Spider-Man. We watched it. Should you?
Can I take your picture for the school paper?
Sure.
Synopsis scenario. Hey, you mind if I take your picture? It's for the school newspaper. After being bitten by a genetically modified spider, a shy teenager gains spider-like abilities that he uses to fight injustice as a masked superhero and face a vengeful enemy. Yep, just like that. Great. Oh yeah. Just like that. Spectacular. Amazing. I can see subscribers. Clearly. With great subscribers comes great likes.
Peter, are you alright?
I'm fine.
This is the Regular Dude Review Show. I'm Ryan Jacob, and I am at the cinema. Oh, this was amazing, spectacular, friendly, neighborhoodly. No, I'm just playing. It was so dope, man. I'm just loving these throwbacks. OG Spider-Man in the theaters, big screen. What else can I say? After what, 22, 23 years? Amazing. I got to bring my daughter along. It was dope. Everything I expected it to be, man. But I wasn't expecting the behind the scenes they showed before the movie. That was pretty cool, man. I think these are a one-day event, so like I can't tell you to go see it, but if they're showing a movie that you love in the theater, go see it, man. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
In this lab, we have 15 genetically enhanced super spiders.
There's 14. One's missing.
You're about to get it straight out the theater, popcorn in the teeth, Regular Dude Review with 0 spoilers, 0 win. You got 4 categories, up to 4 scoops of popcorn equals the popcorn size rating, anywhere from no popcorn to a bucket.
You're changing. I know, I went through exactly the same thing at your age.
First scoop goes to story. All right, I got a lot of notes on this one here. It was an origin story. Yeah. He's a moody teen. He's like shy, isolated, gets his powers, becomes more moody, becomes a little bullyish, gets humbled by his actions resulting in the death of Uncle Ben, you know. Sorry about the spoilers if you don't know where you've been at. The lab created a super spider, and you can see all the stuff, and they took DNA from all these spiders, and each one of them was like one of his superpowers. But once he gets his powers, you kind of see him become a little bit of an asshole. A little bit of Bully Maguire pops out in this movie. The dynamic between Harry and Peter was good. I don't know if they really felt so much like friends, because why are you going to try to go over after your friend's crush that he's been in love with since the 4th grade just because he won't talk to her or whatever? Like, but you could sense the jealousy between them. Like, he's jealous that he got MJ, that Peter's jealous that Harry got MJ. Harry's jealous that his dad is showing interest in Peter. So there's that little interest, or there's that little jealousy there, rivalry between them, which, if you know, they explore that in the second one. I can't wait to come see it tomorrow. Mary Jane just doesn't know who she wants. You know, like 3 dudes. She was like, you could tell the beginning, middle, and third act between like which dude she's interested in. You know, he has to ends up making sacrifices to keep his family safe. Classic Spider-Man story. Something that didn't quite make too much sense was when he was in the fire trying to save people, but it was Green Goblin, and the spider sense didn't alert him that was Green Goblin. Maybe because all the fire around, there's just so much danger already. It's the only explanation I can come up with. Works for me, I guess, but at the time, it's like, what? They kept doing these references saying amazing and friendly neighborhood. I can't remember if they said spectacular, but just all kinds of comic book references throughout the whole film. Now you can see, this is an old movie, so they don't have the movie poster up here, but you can see I chose Superman to stand in front of. There's a lot of parallels in this movie or not a lot, but a few, between Spider-Man and Superman. For one, you got the colors, the red and the blue. When he's running and opens up his chest to see the Spider-Man emblem, it's like what Superman does, the girl, grabbing the girl and flying through the city or swinging through the city, and then having the crazy deranged villain wearing green and purple. Just a few similarities there. But I'm gonna go ahead and give story a scoop. Like, this movie's amazing. I love it. All right, so the second scoop is going to performances. Like, Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. Is he the best one? I do like Tom, but Tobey's great. Dafoe is menacing, man. Like, Green Goblin. Harry did great of playing a friend that would get with your homeboy's crush. MJ did great playing the chick who wants everybody. So Kirsten Dunst did great as Mary Jane or MJ. I'm giving performances a scoop. Gets a full scoop of popcorn.
You do too much. You're not Superman,
Third scoop of popcorn is going to Theatrics. I just love these older films, watching them on the big screen. You got the grain going on. This one wasn't like super old, so it wasn't super grainy, but you could still see the grain. It's 23 years ago. Yes, not every single shot is in focus, like kind of almost in focus, but not quite. The Spider-Man swinging through the city in this is just amazing. Amazing. Sometimes the Green Goblin it gave me Wizard of Oz, Flying Monkey vibes, but just still amazing and great. Speaking of vibes, this movie also gave me a lot of '89 Batman vibes, just like the set. Some of the spots, some of it was kind of Gotham-like, even though, it's New York, which is kind of what Gotham is based off of, kind of like a London-style New York. But just Sam Raimi and Tim Burton have somewhat similar styles, and then the score, definitely '89 Batman vibes. Now, you can see the Twin Towers at one point in the reflection of Spider-Man's eyes. I thought that they edited that out, but I seen it in there. They edited out the towers like in different spots throughout the film. So I thought that was pretty cool. But something that always throws me off in movies is when you can see people wearing contacts, or even veneers at some point, but that's not relevant at this point in time too much anyways. So when Peter Parker's taking his glasses on and off, and you can see the contacts in his eyes. And then even later on, it's like, oh, you don't need contacts? Or glasses? Did you get contacts? No. Yeah, you can see them in your eyes. But I just loved, like all the little stuff they put in here where he's changing this and that. He's running, throwing off his shoe and stuff like that to get into the Spider-Man costume. And like, you just gotta be like, he has to go back and gather that stuff up or go get new clothes or something. But I'm gonna go ahead and give Theatrics a scoop. This movie was dope, especially for its time. Fourth and final scoop goes to Experience, man. Like, I was reliving the past. It was nice. And then you got to see all people of all ages in there watching, you know, people my age, people, you know, teenagers, young 20s, like little kids watching it for the first time. It was great. Like this little girl a few seats from me, she's just watching the whole time. You can kind of hear her talking to her dad a couple times or whatever, but she's just glued to the screen. It was dope. But then during the fight, that last fight between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, she didn't like it. She was just like, she went to her dad. She's like, I don't like this. I don't hear what she said, but it was cute. And it was just dope, like watching the old movies and comparing them to new movies and seeing the trade-off. Like, some stuff's better, some stuff's worse. Like, okay, camera quality's better and whatnot, but just the movies themselves, I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and give Experience a full scoop of popcorn. It was amazing, spectacular.
Harry tells me you're quite the science whiz. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
All right, so we just gave Spider-Man the regular dude review. We're gonna do a real quick recap of the popcorn scoops, the 4 categories, see how much we came up with. So Story came up with the full scoop, because it's just OG Spider-Man. The performances, second scoop of popcorn, I gave it a full scoop. Just Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe. Enough said. By the words of Stan Lee. Third scoop goes to Theatrics. I gave it a full scoop, just the web slinging alone. Dope. Just swinging through the city. That was amazing. Fourth and final scoop goes to Experience, and I gave that one a full scoop too, just because of the nostalgia factor of this. So 4 scoops equals a popcorn bucket. Spider-Man 2002, Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi gets a popcorn bucket. We're gonna put some salt and butter in that. My daughter, I took her to watch it with me. She gives it a large popcorn. Just what a classic, man. This really just set the stage for modern comic book movies, I think. You know, it took stuff from previous iterations of comic book movies like the 89 Batman. Of course, it had some Superman. It had a little bit of, you know, Superman vibes in there. But like Blade and Spider-Man, this just kicked the Marvel movie cinematic universe off in a good way. I know you've seen the Spider-Man. What popcorn size you giving it? You can check the description below if you need some help figuring all that out.
With great power comes great responsibility.
All right, before I get out of here, got some bonus features for you guys. A lot of movie facts. Man, looking here, IMDb, there's 287 movie facts on here. I'm just gonna read through a lot of these and try not to take too much time, man. All right, so the Spider-Man was the first film to gross $100 million in its opening weekend alone. At the time, no movie had done so, even when adjusted for inflation. William Dafoe performed 90% of his own stunts, and the bonus features ahead of the movie also told me that was his first time in the wires, and he had some fun with that. It's the first Marvel movie to showcase the flipping pages Marvel logo. One of the chief difficulties that Tobey Maguire experienced is the now famous upside down kiss. So the rain just kept falling into his sinuses and filling up, and he just had to perform that way. Tobey Maguire said he never read a Spider-Man comic book, but he took the role because he liked the script. When Peter was testing out his webbing for the first time, he said several classic catchphrases belonging to DC characters, the Up, and Away, and Shazam. And Tobey Maguire ad-libbed these, and I think it was dope. It was a dope little ad-lib. So I talked about this a little bit in the theatrics, but in the wake of the terror attacks on September 11th, Sony recalled teaser posters which showed a close-up of Spider-Man's face with New York's skyline, including the World Trade Centers, which that part was in his movies, reflecting in his eyes. Not all the posters were recovered. Some of the ones are still out there, are highly prized collector's items. So Tobey Maguire pumped up his physique and went through a strict 5-month regimen of exercise, weight training, and martial arts 6 times a week, as well as eating high-protein meal 4 to 6 times a day. Woo! So they developed a camera system called the Spider Cam to get more of the Spider-Man's world point of view. Was able to drop 50 stories over 600 feet with shot lengths of just over 2,400 feet or 3,200 feet. Shooting for New York City or LA, it could be shot at 6 frames a second to convey the speed. The Spider Cam was only used in this film for the final sequence, but was brought into more use for the sequels. All right, I'm probably reading stupid. Dr. Octopus was in the early draft of the script to appear as the second bad guy, but in pre-production they decided to put him in this sequel. Green Goblin was chosen by Sam Raimi because he felt the father-son theme between Norman and Harry and would go well against Peter and Ben's, just to give it more depth. And it worked. Tobey Maguire got $26 million. So the reason that they chose Sam Raimi to direct Spider-Man is because he's a huge comic book fan and had 25,000 comic books in his collection. Crazy. I meant to look at the helmet design that was supposed to be used for Green Goblin. I think it resurfaced not too long ago on social media, and I'm pretty sure it looked better than the one that they used, but Willem Dafoe said that the one they were going to use looked too much like a Halloween mask or whatever, so then they went with the one. And it was composed of 580 pieces and took a half hour to put on, which compared to a lot of makeup stuff doesn't really seem like too bad of a suit-up time. So Spider-Man, because of the color differences in their costumes, Spider-Man had to be filmed in front of a green screen, and Green Goblin had to be filmed in front of a blue screen. So James DeFranco kept telling Tobey Maguire that he had a frog-like features on set, and I guess they still have a rivalry to this day about that. Created friction. So they were reluctant to cast Tobey Maguire until they seen that he beefed up and seen his audition. Spider-Man's webbing is made out of fish line and some foam agents and also CGI. So Macho Man Randy Savage was in here in the movie as Bonesaw. Early in his career, he went by the name of Spider, so that's pretty cool. When Willem Dafoe turned into the Green Goblin, when all the smoke was coming out, they couldn't find any non-toxic green smoke, so they had to make the white smoke green with digital effects. And the reason that Sam Raimi went ahead and went with the organic shooters that we don't know if they shoot out of anywhere else or not. He just thought that it was more practical for it to be like that than for him to create some type of sticky agent that 3M couldn't even create. Zach Hudson, a stuntman for Spider-Man, slammed into a brick wall, broke his leg, or fractured it. So the owners of the billboards tried to sue Sony for superimposing other ads on their billboards. It was thrown out. That's what? It didn't even make sense. They had to redesign Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit to make him be able to use the bathroom. They had to add some zippers in there. And also, I think it was 3 of the suits came up missing. They were $100,000 worth of suits, and they put out a $25,000 reward, and they were recovered 18 months later, and there was a security guard and somebody else's accomplice who ended up being the people who stole it. Timothy Halcombe, rest in peace, was killed on set. He was a welder building the sets for the movie, was killed on March 6, 2001. He was hit in the head by an improperly modified forklift, which was used as a camera crane. It fell onto a construction basket, which he was riding. He was involved in building the New York City street facade for the movie. It's always sad when you hear about people passing away during filming movies or shows. So the visual effects supervisor, John Dykstra, he was animated in Spider-Man. It was the most sophisticated task that he had accomplished at the time. Raimi wanted to convey the essence of being Spider-Man, the transition that occurs between him being a young man going through puberty, then being a superhero, but the main thing was that he's in a mask, so they don't show much emotion. So they had to insert a lot of body language into his movements so there'd be some emotional context. They reference Venom when they said Eddie's trying to get some pictures of Spider-Man. So all the New Yorkers that was throwing the trash at the Green Goblin, that was added later on to help show the unity that New York had after the 9/11 happened. The original trailer depicted some bank robbers getting away in a helicopter, and then it showed the helicopter strung up with some webs that were in between the Twin Towers. But then after 9/11, they got rid of that. So there's a superhero in Marvel called Stingray, and that's one of the sketches that he wrote down or drew when he was it's one of the sketches that he drew when he was trying to come up with this costume. Also, he drew the Secret Wars black symbiote costume, but instead of white, it was red, and then he had the annotation, needs more color. 2002, when the film released, was Spider-Man's 40th anniversary. Now, I didn't notice this. I couldn't remember what scene it was. I was trying to pay attention. But when they started filming, DeFranco's hair was black, and they decided to dye it brown to match Willem Dafoe, so they looked more like father and son. But when he comes to visit Aunt May in the hospital, you can see his hair is black. The first scene filmed was when Peter came back all feverishly after getting bit. Willem Dafoe accidentally hit Tobey Maguire in the chin during a fight scene. In the Thanksgiving scene, Peter Parker is wearing Green Goblin colors, Norman Osborn is wearing Spider-Man colors, and Harry Osborn is wearing both colors. J. Jonah Jameson was based off of Stan Lee, and he wanted to play the part but felt he wasn't right and just praised J.K. Simmons for how great he was in the role. Chris Columbus was going to direct Spider-Man, but he did Harry Potter instead. Sam Raimi was held auditions for spiders and chose the perfect spider to use to bite Peter Parker. So all the web slinging sequences were described as ballet in the sky and raised the movie's budget from $70 million to $100 million.
This is my gift.
Wow.
It is my curse.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
For more Regular Dude reviews and movie news, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time at the cinema.
Do I get to say thank you this time?